started caring when I had left Falmouth University, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And my mum was having carers come in at the time, but to be honest, the care company weren't very good. They'd said one carer a lot when we needed to, and often when they came, I wouldn't expect them to know where everything is, but you'd like to think that they'd been sort of briefed about the job beforehand. And sometimes they'd arrive and literally know nothing, and that's not their fault, but it gets a bit awkward, and that's when it's not great for the patient. I was sort of protective in a sense of, I suppose, because of my mum's situation, I think sometimes people would talk to her like maybe she didn't know what was going on, and that was the most frustrating thing, because once we had a lady who came to help my mother to bed, and my mum was just finishing watching something on the telly, and I was sitting with her in the sitting room, and the carer sat down next to her and started from her pocket putting rubber gloves on, which I thought was, well, she's got every right to do that. That's good health and safety. But she could have done it in another room, or had her hands in her pocket so you didn't see that she had the gloves on, or she could have just done it, before gloves are needed, if they were needed. So that was sort of, we were just sat watching telly, and gloves were on. And then she turned around to my mum, and I'm sure she was just trying to make conversation, but she said in this voice, "So when do you normally go to bed?" And like, perfectly reasonable question, but my mum kind of just turned her head and went, and part of you just thinks, oh, possibly they just want to help someone to go to bed and then go home. And part of me, and I don't blame them, but it's also a bit, you don't want to rush anyone, really. But, well, they've changed the law now, and apparently it's all about health and safety now, and it's with care now, you probably couldn't just get by on, say, being a caring person. You actually have to have the relevant qualifications, and now you have to work in the care industry or in anybody's home, you must have an NVQ2 in health and social care, which I do not have. But because I'm not working for an agency, it's different. It's different. I've said that actually for an agency, the way, to be honest, because I just worked with your grandmother, and I feel I'm very attached to her. I do know that by agency standards, they probably would say to me, oh, no, not back off, but they would say you would have to be a bit more professional, rather than just sort of, because at the end of the day, I'm not part of the family. But what I do try and do is just sort of make it as, I'm just trying to make it as homely as for her as I can, rather than just like a stranger coming in and just sitting down with same sort of old routine. Maybe I always let her know where Connie is, or where you and Kia are, or who's in the house, that kind of thing. And I just hope that's nice for her, because then she knows where everybody is and knows what everybody's doing. But no, I definitely feel valued. It's really nice. It's that feeling when you go away and you feel like you've done the best you can do. But no, I definitely carry on with care work, because it's the people that you meet, and just being part of loads of lovely people's lives, really. And you've got those little stories that you will keep forever. can't imagine not doing it actually. If I didn't do caring, I'd do like voluntary work, something like that. I'd have to do something.